How's the DA going to deal with inequality when the DA is saying that do away with the minimum wage because it is hampering employment?
The best way to deal with inequality is to get people into jobs. The minute people are in jobs and earning, the Gini coefficient goes down, which is the measure of inequality. So critically, you've got to get people into jobs. We're a country with about 7 to 8 million registered personal taxpayers. Mm-hmm. We've got over 20 million grant recipients. That is totally unsustainable for any country. You just have to do the maths. So it's critical to get more and more and more people into jobs. And one of the things that is hampering job creation is the hurdles that people have to go through to employ people and the almost impossibility of releasing people if they're not doing the job or if they're firing them.
Yeah.
And those kinds of things make people think, well, it's too risky and too difficult to start a business that employs people because the labor regulations make it just impossible for us to do that. And so we're saying take away the barriers to employment. Anything in South Africa that creates a barrier to employment is bad.
Is that the assessment or the review that you got from business and investors? Because I'm also wondering that if those are the issues that they are raising, how come then the Western Cape still has the lowest unemployment rate? Because the Western Cape was able to achieve the lowest unemployment rate with those impediments that the Democratic Alliance is speaking of, including a minimum wage.
Well, when you add up all the impediments together, they become impossible in the other provinces. So if you add up roads that don't work, dirty water, no electricity, corruption, no street lights and traffic lights, you can't transport your products, etc., plus all of those labor impediments, you say, to hell with this. This is really not worth it. But every now and again, there are studies that say, what are the biggest impediments to investment? Currently, the biggest impediment to investment, obviously, is the energy crisis, together then with BEE. People say they're not going through all of the stuff, and they're not going to invest in South Africa or start new businesses or expand their businesses because of these barriers.
Yeah.
And one of the biggest barriers is the labor regime. So in the DA in the Western Cape, we're reducing all the barriers we can. We're trying to reduce the cost of energy. We're trying to make energy secure. We're ensuring that people have clean water, refuse removal, good sanitation, massive investment in infrastructure, no corruption. That takes away a whole range of impediments to investment and job creation. Mm-hmm. We have still a whole lot left that the labor regime imposes, and if we could reduce those, we'd have many, many, many more people in employment, which is what we want.
How much would the Democratic Alliance pay the lowest paid worker a month?
The Democratic Alliance does not pay workers.
No.
Businesses pay workers.
Sure, we currently have a minimum wage, right? Mm-hmm. I'm going to look up the figure now, just forgot it now, but just over 3.7, if I'm not mistaken. So that is the minimum wage per month. What would the Democratic Alliance say that this is an okay amount to pay somebody that is below 3.7?
I would never ever pay anybody 3.7. I think it's far too low. And I never have.
Why do away with the minimum wage?
Because that's my choice and that's a market choice.
Yeah.
The point is you must
listen,
Aldrin, don't ask me. Ask people who are unemployed what they're prepared to work for. If they're not prepared to work for what's on offer, they don't have to. But the point is you let the market regulate that, not me. It's got nothing to do with Helen Zille. When I employ people, as I have in the past, look at what I've paid them and look at that's between me and the person. Do they want the job?
Is that an approach of a government?
Yes.
That you decide whatever you want to pay your workers, and if the worker is willing to accept 500 Rand a month, that's okay. Is that it?
Let me tell you what is okay. What is okay is to allow the market to find the level and to enable people to get into work. Don't ask me, don't ask the theoreticians, ask the people who are unemployed and desperate for work. Ask them. Let them tell you if they're prepared to work for X and Y. If they're not, then they won't take it. And the wages will go up to attract workers.